Hey, what is going on guys? My name is Pranav and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at how you can tackle this amazing looking parallax animation inside of Adobe Xd using the auto-animate features. With that said, let's jump right into the video and get started. So here we are in Adobe Photoshop and this is the image that I've chosen to be the background of the design. This is actually from Unsplash and all the project resources have been linked down below in the description. So for this, I have separated each of these hills into different layers as you can see here. And I've actually made a clouds layer with the soft round brush and a 30% opacity and flow, and then just painting over the canvas. And then I've had this birds image, which is actually a JPEG image, which I removed the background by using the blend if options. You can find this Photoshop file linked in the description down below. I'm just going to show you the layers that I have separated here. So this is the background image. So this is the birds, the clouds layer. This is one of the mountains. I'm actually going to turn off the background so you can see that. So this is one mountain gone. This is the other one. This is another layer and this is another layer. This is the entire image. So let's just go ahead and save this and open it up in Adobe Xd. Now once we are in Adobe Xd, I've actually added this project file in the description as well. So once you open that up, you'll be able to find all these assets in your project file to follow along without any problems. Now let's go ahead and import the Photoshop file. Press on this hamburger icon, click on this import button and then select the PSD and import it. Now this will import it as a separate image on the pasteboard. Let's go ahead and press A to create an artboard and then click on this 1080p option right here and then place it exactly over there. Now let's rename this to Before Parallax and hit enter. Once you go into this layers panel and click on this Before Parallax, you'll be able to find the Photoshop image series setup file where you have all the layers here which we're going to be playing with in a while. Now you can actually see this reference artboard right here, which I've made previously so that I don't need to waste a lot of time while making this tutorial. Let's go ahead and get started then. Like I said, I've actually added all the character styles and colors in the project file itself. Now once you have this, you'll be able to design this pretty easily. I'm going to go ahead and create a text right here and I'm going to type in Serene. Now I need to change the font style to 35 pixels, 35 points and poppins, and I'm also going to make everything capital here. Alright, and then let's align it to the left side of the layout. Now in case you don't know how to turn this grid on, you just need to click on this artboard and then go down here and enable this check mark right here. Alright, now let's go ahead and create a full stop here. For this, I don't like the full stop that Poppins has. It's a square basically, so I want a circular full stop, for which I'm going to be using Montserrat here. I'll just change this to Montserrat. Alright, now we have a circle for a full stop, which is nice. Now let's go ahead and create the nav bar. For that, I'm going to hold Alt and then drag it to make a copy. I'm going to change this to book. Now let's actually change the character style first. This one is actually Poppins. It's 20 pixels, 20 points, and it is regular. Alright, and it's not all caps, so let's turn this off as well. Now let's go ahead and create 4 more copies of this. I'm pressing Alt and dragging to create copies. Now let's rename all of this by double clicking. So this one is About Us. Alright, this one is Trips and this one will be Store. Now obviously this is a concept company and a website that I'm creating just for practice. The main aim of this tutorial is to show you guys the parallax effect which you can achieve with Adobe's auto-animate feature. I'm going to align this to the edge of this column right here and I want 50 pixel distance between each of these elements. I'm going to hold Alt, which shows me how much distance I have between each of them, which is convenient. I have 50 right now. If you don't have it exactly at 50, you can just use the arrow keys to move it left or right. Let's do the same with these as well. It's 50 and this one is 50 as well. Alright, now as you can see, this just keeps moving around. Let's just put it back into the center and press Ctrl plus L to lock that layer. It won't be a problem right now. Now let's go ahead and select all of these and then press on this button to align them. Now let's go ahead and create the main title for the landing page. I'm going to press T to get the text tool, hit enter. I'm going to press T to get the text tool, click once and type in something. Ctrl A to select all of them. I'm going to go ahead and type in Majesty Banner. I want this to be 117 points high and I want it to be medium. Alright, now let's type in the text that we want here. Alright, I've typed in the text and we have the title for the landing page. I'm going to align it to the end of the first column here. Alright, now let's go ahead and create the button here. For this I'm going to choose the rectangle tool, click and drag to create a rectangle till half of the fourth column. Then I'm going to click on this button right here and drag it inwards to create a rounded rectangle. Now let's go ahead and add in a text into this. So this is going to be Poppins, 24 pixels, 24 points, and this will be semi-bold. Let's type in book a trek. Let's select both of these, press on this button and this button to align it to the center. Let's not worry about the colors right now. I'll just show you a method that I use to extract colors from the photo we use. So we're going to be creating this element right here, this circle element, which doesn't really have a use in this prototype. So let's create a circle. Alright, and align it to here, and let's create that arrow. For that we need to choose the line tool, press shift, drag downwards. On the size I'm going to give it a 3-point border radius and then round caps. Now I'm going to press V to go into selection tool, hold alt, drag to create copy. Do that once more, select both of these, reduce the height of this, select one of them, rotate it 90 degrees, and then I'm going to just snap the pivot points in place. Alright, select both of them, hold shift and rotate to rotate along 45-degree increments, and then just move it and place it right here and reduce the size of this as well. Alright, I'm going to make this into a 4 border radius and let's just bring it here. Alright, it's too big right now. Let's just reduce the size a little more. Now let's go ahead and click on all of this, hold alt and shift and make it smaller. Now to align it to the center, we're going to be using both of this and selecting both of this and then press on this button and this button right here. But as you can see, that doesn't really work. So first of all, let's remove the border fill of this. So we don't need a border for that. Now let's go ahead and make this arrow back. And let's hold shift, select all of these individual elements and press Ctrl plus G to create a group. Now if we press all of these and then hit these buttons, we'll be getting a perfectly center aligned arrow. Alright. Now let's create the second section of the landing page. For that I'm going to go ahead and click on the artboard and then type in 1080 into 2. Alright, let's create a rectangle which is exactly 1920 by 1080. And let's just align it to the second section right here. Alright, now let's create these cards right here. For this I've actually messed around a little bit and found these numbers to be really good. So it's 292 and 446. So let's create that right now. Select the rectangle tool, 292 and 446. Alright, now let's align this. Let's change the fill of this so that we can see it better. Remove the border and align it to the end of the first column. And let's drag this icon a little bit inside so that we have some rounded edges, which looks really good. Now let's go ahead and create 4 of these. For this, we're going to be using an amazing feature of Adobe Xd called Repeat Grid. We're going to press on this button right here and then click on this and drag till we get 4 of these cards. Then we can go ahead and hover our mouse on top of this area right here, and then we can click and drag to increase the space between them. I'm going to align it to the beginning of the last column right here. Alright, now let's go ahead and drag in the photos that we need to place inside these cards. Don't ungroup it yet, let it remain as a group element. Let's go ahead and open up the file where we have saved the photos in. Let's select all the photos that we want to import. Click on it, drag it inside Xd and drop it right inside that. Now as you can see, Xd does a pretty good job of aligning all the photos inside the cards. Now let's click on this and click on this ungroup grid to make them individual elements. Now anytime if you want to edit the photos inside, you can just double click and then move it around. Alright, now let's go ahead and create this text right here. Now this is actually Montserrat 95 black. So let's press T to get the text tool. I'm going to hit E. Make it capital. Montserrat 95 and black. Alright. I'm going to place it in the center of each of these cards. Now the layout is a little disturbing, so I'm going to turn that off, the grids. Alright. Now I'm going to hold Alt and drag it along. I'm going to do that once more. Let's change this to spell out the word East. Okay. Alright. Now let's create this text box right here. This is basically simply a text box which is center aligned here. I've used Montserrat 20 and regular character style for this. So I'm just going to copy this and place it right here into my artboard here. Alright, I'm just going to select this and press on this button to align it to the center. Now let's create an element with the line tool. It's a very simple element. I've added this in the component here as well. I'm going to give this a size of 4 with a round cap and reduce the size by holding Alt and Shift. Alright, now let's go ahead and mess with the colors. Now I'm going to be showing you a really cool technique that you can use to get color palette from the photo that you're using. For this you need to go into a website called Adobe Cooler, and once you're here under the create panel you'll find this extract theme option where you can select a file and drag and drop the photo from which you want to extract the color palette. So I've used the photo of the background and extracted these colors, and these are the exact colors that I have placed over here. Now let's go ahead and change the colors of each of these elements. I'm going to select these by holding Shift and change these to have the darkest color. This one. Alright. Actually, I think I'm going to change this to medium, which looks more legible. Let's change the color of this button to this. Now let's change it to this, and the color of the font, the color of the text to this. Alright, let's remove the border from this. Okay, let's change the color of this to this and the arrow to this. Alright, let's change the color of this rectangle into this or this. Now actually there's a really cool technique to make this flow look a little seamless. For that you need to go into the fill and pick the color picker tool and then select the last almost at the edge of the photo so you get a seamless color transition. But since this has multiple layers we can actually do a gradient here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Click on this and change it to linear gradient. Now I've just added 2 colors into the swatches panel right here by clicking this plus icon. It's the darkest color and the one which is a little lighter than that. So I'm going to change this to the dark color and this one to the lighter shade. Now here we have a nice gradient which is looking good. Now we can drag this downwards to make darker tone fill more of the space, which looks good. Let's change the color of these texts into the lighter shade. Alright, that looks good. Let's change this also. So as you can see, we've completed the landing page design. Now let's go ahead and add in the animation using the prototype feature. First, let's go ahead into the prototype tab and create in a new artboard. Now we're going to be messing with a lot of elements that we created in Photoshop to create the animation here. Let's go into the design tab, click on the before parallax artboard, double click here to open it. Go into the Photoshop image setup and let's just mess around with the stuff here. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and change the position of these birds so that it looks like it's flying in when the animation is happening. Select the birds and move it out of the artboard. Alright, let's come back here into the first artboard and move the clouds. And let's move the clouds a little above. So for that, I'm going to be using these tools here. I'll click and drag downwards to move it up. So I'm moving it along the negative y-axis. Alright. And then let's mess around with the shape, size and position of these mountains. For this, I want it to be much bigger. And I will also position it properly. This mountain as well. I'm just going to move this layer above this mountain so it's visible and make it much bigger. Now we need to do the same thing in the next artboard as well, otherwise the animation will not work. So let's move this mountain on top. Alright. Now let's go to the first artboard. Let's increase this mountain's size as well and move it along. Alright, now let's change the size of this mountain as well to fill the entire canvas, so there's no discrepancies in the image right here. Alright, this looks good. Now if you go into the prototype tab, click on the artboard, drag and drop this arrow into this one and do this. Okay, and let's change the trigger to tap, type to auto-animate, destination is before parallax. No, let's change this to after parallax. Alright, destination is after parallax here. Easing, I want ease in and out and a duration of 2 seconds. Alright, let's go ahead and click on this live preview button, and once we tap, you can see the animation happening. Let's do the same from that artboard to this one as well. Alright, now we have the same settings here. When we hit the live preview, you can see the parallax effect happening and it looks good. Alright, now we're going to be creating the scrolling animation with the cards popping around as well. For that, we need to select this entire artboard. Go into design tab, select this entire artboard and move it to the top by holding shift, and we can change the size of this artboard to 1080. Alright, now let's move around some stuff here so that it moves in when the animation is happening. So I'm going to move this card, I'm going to move this and this element to the top, this and this a little below, align this to the top one, align this to the bottom one. Alright, I'm just going to move this text a little bit here. Okay, looks good. So now we're going to be animating in this artboard as well. So I want the E to fly in. So I'm going to move this here. Alright, and I want the font also, the text, I want the text also to fly in and this line to come in afterwards. So I'm going to move that farther away from the artboard. Once that is done, we're going to click on this and make this 1080 as well. Now once we go into the prototype mode, everything is set. Let's just click on the live preview button, tap once, and there. Alright, so hope you guys liked the video. Make sure to subscribe for more design related content. Leave a like if you liked the video and comment down below if you want more tutorials like these. You can ask any doubts in the comment section and feel free to tag me on Instagram in case you do follow along this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.